Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sport Church, where we gather together to worship at the altar of competition where grown men and women drive around in circles, beat the shit out of each other, and play with balls. I'm your host, John Kermain, a.k.a. Mini. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. 2311 was my MOS. I'm a car carrier member of the E4 Mafia, allegedly, and one of the founding members of VRR. Been at this for several years, and I just can't seem to stop. So let's unpack the sports week, at least with the sports that we love. We're going to cover a little bit of baseball, some auto racing, hopefully, and some MMA and a little gambling advice from the one and only brother Bishop Pook Dawg. Since he's here and Pops, even though he's about 20 feet that way above me, for some reason isn't with us right now, but we'll figure it out. We'll get to it. I'm going to bring on the brother Bishop Pook Dawg. I served with this gentleman at the all-inclusive resort known as 43 area, the most holistic company the Marine Corps has ever seen. Ammo company, part of 1st Supply Battalion, 1st Force Service Support Group, 1st MAR Div. We never, ever got into any kind of shenanigans together, ever. None of it involved Tijuana. None of it involved missing flights to go home on leave. But without further ado, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, brother Bishop Pook Dawg.
What's up, Minnie? How you doing, my man?
You know what? I'm all right, brother. I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. You know, it was a good show last night, a long show. Had a lot of fun. Played some silly games. played a little fuck, marry, kill, which was interesting. And I had a good time, always the bar's always a good time. And we were a little short staffed last night, but it was all right. Doc made his appearance for the first time in about a month. So that was great.
All right, good to see the Doc back in there.
Absolutely. Good to see the Devil Dog back. And yeah, we just had some fun, did the memes and whatnot, and just kind of looking forward to what we're gonna do today, even though we're kind of in the doldrums, as sailors would call it, doldrums, which is where you get into an area where there's no wind in the no wind to power the sails. It's a little slow in the sports world right now. Even in
you
baseball,
got the NFL.
Yeah, we do have some NFL going on.
Yeah,
and we
you got a lot of NFL
going
on, Mini.
You need the address.
I was on the first one, and then you came back and put the bar on, and I didn't give me an address.
Do you want me to resend that to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No worries. Figured out why Pops isn't with us. So I'll take care of that here in a second. Yeah, you gotta watch yourself here in this basement. It's a little dangerous. Yeah,
so
man.
Not only do you have NFL action, right?
Yeah.
You also you're calling this the doldrums, but you got NFL playoff action going on. It's happening. We also have fight announcements, right?
Yeah.
Did you see? We got some fight announcements to talk about, and then not only that, you got your favorite thing, Hot Stove Yankees talk. You can always go back to Hot Stove Yankee talk anytime you want.
No, why you keep giving me all that hell about the Yankees, man? You know I hate the Yankees. But yeah, they are in the news, man. I mean, they did well with the Juan Soto thing. It's kind of funny that they pulled the trigger on that because they desperately need more than anything pitching, which I guess everybody needs pitching. That's the deal with baseball is you can't go anywhere without starting pitching, and they make a run for Juan Soto, which hey, he's not a rental. He's kind of a rental. They got him for I think 2 years. I think, but I mean, he's gonna have a fucking if he can stand the New York pressure, which I don't know. He's young and cocky, so he may be able to withstand that New York pressure. But he's gonna have a field day with that left field or right field fence. I mean, it's 314 at Yankee Stadium. He's gonna blast 50. I mean, it does dramatically improve the offense of the Yankees because now Judge has somebody to protect him, whether he bats in front of Judge or bats behind him. And if Giancarlo Stanton can actually be healthy for, I don't know, at least half a season, it's going to make the Yankees offense a lot more dangerous. However, they've done nothing to address their pitching issues. So, that's the thing. And we'll definitely get into the NFL a little bit. We'll definitely have to make a bet. I'm down $40 now to the house money with you. So I'm going to have to come up hard. On some of the NFL bets today, but we'll see. Let me make sure I get Pops.
There's a lot of weird things. Listen, man, there's a lot of weird things that happened in the last week because you got teams that are going to be sitting players.
Yeah,
and we know
yeah.
And not only that, you got end of the year, you got all kinds of end of the year contracts, and it could go one way or another. They could be sitting players just to avoid paying them, or they could be putting players in the game to try to help them get their bonus and keep them happy. There's all kinds of shit going on. There's all kinds of behind the crap going on in the week 17, man.
I'd be remiss if I didn't cover since we've had about a 2-week hiatus because I decided to hit a deer and other reasons. Most notably, my stepmother passing away. We didn't recap the fantasy football season. And Pook, if you remember at the beginning of the season,
we don't need to recap the fantasy football season.
We're gonna recap
just me and you on the show. We don't have to do that. There's no reason for this.
We're going to.
Oh,
trust me, I don't want to. We don't need to, but we're going to.
No, we don't need to.
I had a premonition at the beginning of the season. I was very happy with my team. and I knew I was going to score. I knew I was going to beat the brakes off everybody during the regular season. And this happened, what was it, 2 years ago, where I just mowed the league, just destroyed the league. And I did until we got to the playoffs. And then my nemesis, the only weak link I thought was in my team, was Keenan Allen. And that's where it went off the rails. First round, lost. I outscored the guy who won the championship, Combat Santa, our terminal lance of the Canadian military. He was over in, I'll just say, an undisclosed location in Eastern Europe. He won the championship. So congrats to Combat Santa. Love you, much love. But he did win. But I lost Keenan Allen and I lost Tyreek Hill, the guys who basically scored probably 35-40% of my points through the whole season. I lost them in the first week of the playoffs, and that was it. It was, it was done. And I couldn't even beat my dad. I couldn't even beat Pops. It was terrible. Combat Santa won. Full Metal Vet, Tim Latore, who we served with at the beautiful all-inclusive resort known as 43 Area Las Pulgas. He finished second. Pops finished third. I finished fourth. Pook, I don't even know where you ended up, man. There's somewhere down the line.
I was dead.
Yeah, you were dead. You did.
I was dead.
I
ain't dead last, but I was dead. I didn't have a chance to get in the playoffs even.
Yeah, you finished seventh. Blame It on the Crayons finished 8th. Kenny Diggett finished 10th. Mar-a-Lago Raiders finished 9th. My wife did not finish in last place. She finished just at 11. Next year it's on though. Next year, Pook, we're doing it for the money. We're doing it for the dollar bills. I'm gonna put a $50 minimum to get in this league. Because just to make it that much more painful. And it's going to come again. We're going to reinstate the punishment for finishing in last place. 2 years ago, we did that. And the Redneck Pimp, who you should check out, he's on the VRR Veteran Revolt Radio page every Tuesday at 1900 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, we're just going to do that. We're going to reinstate it. But he did the punishment 2 years ago because he's a gentleman, and Michelle couldn't do it because she was pregnant. Yeah, it was jumping in the ice bath. So
you guys wanted to do a tattoo or something, right?
Yeah, but we settled on the ice bath. So
now, I don't have all these years being married to Alice for all those years, being in the Marine Corps for all those years. I don't have a tattoo, believe it or not.
You don't have a single tattoo?
I don't have one single tattoo, and my brothers in the Marine Corps pushed me to get tattoos. I was in tattoo parlors in San Diego, Oceanside, all over Hollywood. Never got one. They did. My ex-wife, she freaking loved tattoos. Wanted me to get them. Thought they were sexy. Never got one. Can't do it. When I was a child, my grandfather told me, he looked me in the eyes, and he told me, you know what? Because I had a temporary tattoo on my arm, and my uncle told on me. Told my granddad. And I told my uncle it was real, and it wasn't. It was fake, but it looked very real. It was a parrot, and I got out of a gumball machine, but it looked really good. So I tell I get told on, I get tattletaled on, right?
Yeah.
My granddad looks at me and says, only lowlifes and sailors have tattoos. Look me in the eyeball, and it stuck with me even when I was a Marine. I'm like, I'm not a sailor. I don't know, but anyway, Minnie. Anyway, your body's a temple. You don't put graffiti on a temple. Minnie, are you muted or have I lost my audio?
No, I'm muted. I'm trying to get
muted for quite some time. There's a lot of dead air, bro. I thought it was my internet connection. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to get Pops hooked up. No worries at all. Might as well just go shoot from the hip and what's going on in the MMA world, man, and boxing.
Yeah, exactly. And boxing, right? We got Francis Ngannou is set to square off against Anthony Joshua on March 9th. Very interesting fight there, my man.
Yeah.
What do you think the betting odds are right now? Because I have the opening betting odds.
Oh, I have no idea. Hold on one sec.
There we are.
All right, I don't know, man. What do you think? Give me a hint. Who's he fighting?
He's fighting Anthony Joshua. He's fighting a heavyweight champion, a guy that used to have the unified title.
Ooh,
yeah, he's fighting the guy that Tyson Fury's been dodging for years, or vice versa, however you want to say it. Anthony Joshua's been dodging Tyson. I think a lot of it don't have to do with the men themselves. It has a lot to do with their camps and the money surrounding the fight. You know what I mean? I think, but yeah. they've been they should have fought years ago, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. They have not fought yet, but yeah, he's probably, if you want to call Tyson Fury the lineal champ.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua was holding the title when Tyson Fury was retired, if that puts this into perspective.
Man, I don't know. So much hype behind Ngannou now. Plus 250? I don't know.
Plus 325 is the comeback.
I was close.
But if you wanted to, if that's what I'm looking at, if you wanted to take AJ, you want to take Anthony Joshua, you're going to have to lay 500 though. He's a 5-1 favorite. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Let's take that bet. What do you think? Should we take that bet?
What,
bet against them?
Bet against AJ? I'm betting against AJ.
All right, let's do this.
You get 325 back on the comeback. So every 100 you put down, you're going to get back 325. That's the betting odds right now. That's the opening line. These lines will move. The line will move before the fight. I don't see it moving that much, though. I don't believe the public's probably going to come down hard on Ngannou. So I think we should probably get our bets in early if we want to bet this one.
Let's do it.
How much you want to bet?
How much do you want to give me on the house money that,
Oh, how much? I don't even know how much I owe you. This is just like, I have no idea. You're going to freaking send me an itemized bill 2 years from now for $100,000, I think. I have no idea. I have no idea how much I even owe. This just keeps going.
Well, I tell you what, be fair.
I have made some payments. I have made payments.
You have made some payments.
Yeah.
Why don't you put me down for 100?
I owe you that much? More? Plus? Plus. I got
a year plus $50 a month. Yeah. So I think 100 is fair. Right. And no matter what,
down for 100.
Yeah, let's do 100. I think Ngannou, I was very skeptical of him, coming from MMA and whatnot and going into the boxing ring. And sure enough, man, the guy is proven all his critics wrong, including me. So, he's going to go up against Johnson, and the odds, the way they are, you've got to jump on that. You got to, because if he wins, it's whoo. Well, it's a value bet for sure.
I look at it as a value bet. Somebody that's a boxing purist might think you're out of your freaking mind, and they'd remind you just the same way that the Devil Doc did, since he's not here, that fight that Tyson Fury had against Ngannou was an exhibition. Remember that? Remember how?
Yeah.
But that, to me, that's a crock of nonsense because I watched the fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll see what happens. Ngannou's a freaking freak, man.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he is anointed. Oh.
That's the fact, Jack.
So we got that coming up March 9th. We got some Connor news. And for the first time in a while, because it kind of, I told you in the past they've kind of hinted around at announcing a fight with Chandler or doing something with Connor, and I've told you that's not happening. That's not happening. That's not happening. I've been telling you that for the longest time. I think this might happen.
Yeah, he announced it on Twitter last week.
Yeah, I think they might finally make this happen. We've been off air a couple weeks, but they've literally been hinting around as Nate Diaz as Connor's opponent. Have Nate Connor 3, and we all know that would bring in the most pay-per-views, right? But I believe that they quit doing that. I think they quit hitting around at that because, man, that would really look ugly. When you promise a guy a fight. You promise Chandler his red panty night, and then you rip the rug right out from underneath him, right? And you give it to Diaz just for pay-per-view buys because Diaz is good. Yeah, so I think they decided not to do that. It seemed like Connor was talking that way. It seemed like
I have the announcement. I was on Twitter, or X formerly known as Twitter, and I was just scrolling through, and all of a sudden I got an alert, because I follow Connor, and this is his announcement. It's fucking say what you want. The guy he's good for the sport. He's entertaining as shit, and this is his announcement about that fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year to you all. I'd like to announce the return date for myself and notorious Conor McGregor for the greatest comeback of all time. Will take place in Las Vegas for International Fight Week on June the 29th. Come a little closer. And the opponent, Michael Chandler. And the weight, Mr. Chandler, 185 pounds.
Whoa! What do you think about that, Pook Dawg?
Well, I don't know what to make of that. I really don't know what to make of that because neither one has ever fought at that heavyweight.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Chandler obviously freaking that gay leprechaun looks like he's walking around at about, he looks a little puffy, man. He looks like he's about 205 right now at least, right? So he's probably going to have to cut weight to get down to 185. Chandler probably walks around at 185 right around there. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. Chandler actually said, I actually saw a Chandler quote where Chandler said that he suggested the fight to be at 170. Ooh. And he feels just because he announced that Connor's coming over the top of him with 185, not to be outdone because that's his ego getting into play, and he wants to maintain his dominance. And he wants it to be on his terms. Now, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think maybe it has a lot to do with maybe that's Connor's new fighting weight because he's kind of a different individual, if you haven't noticed, than he was the last time we seen him in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lot bigger. He's a lot bigger. He's got a lot more muscle mass. He's obviously has a good pharmacist.
Plus,
he's surrounded by good pharmacists and doctors.
He probably has a steel rod in his ankle.
That's a fact.
Leg. Yeah.
That's a fact. I believe it's titanium. Yeah, that's a fact, Pops. That can only help him, I believe, right? That can only help him in this. Imagine getting whacked with a freaking titanium rod. Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouchie.
But I'm excited. I hope it happens. I mean, Fight Week's always huge, always a good time. And to see Connor come back, fight Chandler, and imagine if he wins. Oh, Jesus, a shit show. That's
Oh, you know what? You know what the great part about this for me is Connor is absolutely probably going to be the favorite. He always is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
clean up. I can clean up on this one. That's the good news.
So you say Connor's going to lose?
When does Connor ever win recently?
Oh.
Who was the last guy he really beat? Like, Cowboy Cerrone or something?
Yeah,
like 4 years ago or something?
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a swan song, one way or another.
What did Marvelous Marvin Hagler say? Mini's requoted this quote before. Something about silk sheets and silk pajamas.
Yeah, it was Joe. I think it was Joe Louis.
Okay,
it was one of the big fighters that he's. It's really hard to fight when you're sleeping in silk sheets. The hunger, the drive isn't there like it was when you're trying to get to the mountain. Once you get to the top of the mountain and you're sleeping in silk sheets, it's a little bit harder to get up and train and have that hunger and that drive, that madness in you that carries you from average to elite. And Connor's got silk sheets and has for some years, and you're right, he hasn't won a fight in several years. And the fight against who was it when he broke his leg? Was against the Cajun, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Poirier, yeah.
Poirier.
That was his last serious fight. I mean, yeah, his leg basically broke in half. And so that takes a minute to come back from. And any opponent he fights is going to probably focus on that thing. So, but if he wins, oh God, if he wins this fight, and this fight actually happens with Chandler and he wins it, oh, the shit show that's going to follow it is going to be insane. If he loses, he goes away probably. I mean, maybe not right away, but eventually
he goes away.
Yeah.
He goes away. Dude, that guy's not going to go away until he wants to go away. There's people like you and other casual fans who will buy every single pay-per-view from here on out forever. They're like freaking Conor McGregor forever, man.
Well, yeah, you might be right. But I think if he wins, it's going to be even worse.
It's like saying Nate Diaz is going to go away. That guy don't always win either. I shouldn't say he keeps losing because that's not true. That's just not true. He won his last fight. These guys ain't going away. How many losses do you think it would take for Conor to go away? He'd have to go away at some point.
Yeah.
Like for him to go away, not on his own, for him to like drop off the face of this earth, no pay-per-view buys for him. How many losses do you think that guy would get before he's not your biggest star? He's literally lost like 5 fights in a row, something like that. I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember. Forgive me, but he's lost a bunch of fights in a row. It's been years since his last victory, like we talked about. He's literally their biggest draw still.
Right.
He's bigger than John Jones. He's bigger than Francis Ngannou.
Well,
he's bigger than. I'm talking about the sport. I know.
Yeah.
Ngannou's no longer in the UFC. He's bigger than anybody, man. He's bigger than Stipe. He's bigger. He's literally bigger than the greatest MMAer of all time. Freaking the Dagestani. I can't think of his name. Magomedov.
Oh,
he's better than Magomedov. Yeah. He's better than all. I mean, not better. I mean, he's a bigger draw. He's a bigger draw. He's not better than Magomedov, obviously. He's a bigger draw. Yeah. He's the biggest draw. Yeah. He's the biggest thing in show business, probably. He's one of the biggest things in sports for sure. I mean, money.
So as long as he's got that draw, I think Dana keeps him around. I mean, Dana might.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, what does that guy got to do before he's irrelevant and nobody cares about him? Because the only reason that he's relevant to me now, the only reason this guy's even relevant to me now, is because he commands such a large portion of the fanship still. Of the money on the pay-per-views and everything else.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he's even relevant to me. The guy's he's Mr. Irrelevant. I doubt that guy could come back and win a UFC title at any weight class, let alone 185. Good luck at 185. Yeah, who's he going to beat? What UFC? I mean, I don't see it happening. I don't know. I could be wrong. You know.
Well, if they officially lock that down, we're gonna have to dig into that and possibly lay some money on there. You know, I'm perfectly happy losing money with Connor. You know, you say all the shit about him, but I just think he's amazing for the sport because he draws attention to the sport, and that's important. That is important.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if
purists would want to hang me from a yard arm, but you know, he does draw attention. He does bring the money. He does bring the hype and the attention. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, people are sick, and that's why they like Connor. He's a sick individual. You know, I mean, he's obviously not as bad as Jeffrey Epstein or these guys, but I mean,
right. What else we got going on, man? I mean, we covered Nagano. I butted in with the Connor Chandler fight. What else we got going on?
Well, Connor Chandler's obviously the big news. I mean,
sure.
That's the pink elephant in the room. We were going to talk about that no matter what. Really things have been stagnant. There hasn't been much going on. Next week, we're going to have a fight night. It's going to be Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Some other notable names that you might recognize on that card. Ricky Simone, Mario Batista. Nobody else is really jumping out at me. But, you know, we got your favorite Irish Brazilian, Johnny Walker, against Magomed Ankalaev. And I imagine the odds on that are pretty steep. I imagine this is another fight where it's probably going to be 4-1, 5-1. I might take Johnny Walker as a dog. He can always head kick, knock you out of nowhere. He's done it before. So we got the Strickland pay-per-view.
Ooh.
That's going to be coming up. I believe I'm pulling it up right now, but I believe it's going to be the 20th. I'm going to take a look at it. I believe it's going to be the 20th here. And as soon as I pull it up, I could tell you who else is going to be on that card.
What the hell happened to my girl, man? What happened to my girl, Rose?
I don't think she
just bowed out and she's done. Like, I never saw a formal announcement. What happened to her boy?
Nah.
The Maori kid. What happened to him? Where's he at? What's he doing?
He's still fighting, but you got stuff going on with Bellator. Bellator's been bought by the PFL.
Oh, really?
So Bellator's been bought. Yeah, Bellator got bought by the PFL, and
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Bellator is still separate. Bellator is still a separate entity as of right now, but within the next year, I believe they're going to form like Voltron to take on the UFC. I guess the UFC would be Godzilla.
What the Maori kid is up to? If you have any updates or anything.
I haven't. You know, I really haven't talked to that kid in a long time. I ought to drop him.
You need to hit him up, man. You need to hit him up. Because
I see him on Instagram here and there. You know, I see him. I'll give him a like or whatever on his post, but I haven't really talked to the guy. Okay, so on that card is on the 20th. I was correct. It's going to be Sean Strickland versus DDP Duplessis. Here we got Dricus Duplessis. We all know we saw the last time we actually had a sports church. We saw the fight in the audience at the UFC event between Sean Strickland and Duplessis. What do you guys make of this fight? What do you guys think this fight? How do you think this fight's gonna? What do you think the outcome of this fight's gonna be? You know, I'm gonna while we discuss that, I'm actually gonna look up the odds on this. I believe that Duplessis is a favorite. Now, I wouldn't mind betting Sean Strickland. You're talking about betting money. I mean, am I being silly wanting to bet Sean Strickland? Because the way I break down this fight, I don't see Sean Strickland getting ragdolled by this guy. I see Sean Strickland putting a lot of pressure on him and outboxing him the same way he did with Izzy. but I could be wrong about that. They have to fight the fights, but I'd like to see the odds real quick. While I'm looking up the odds, who do you guys like in this fight?
Oh man, I don't. Almost a coin flip, isn't it?
I'm thinking it's almost a coin flip. Let's see what the odds makers have to say about it.
Just to give some fans, because I love the Myra kid. He came on a show. He was an amazing guest, very funny, and I just root for him.
Man, he's good. He don't have too many losses on his record, homeboy. He don't. I mean, he's out there in that feeder organization, and we don't see much about him because the superstars of those organizations don't get nearly the press as a fight night for the UFC. That's just a fact. A fight night for the UFC will bring more press and more fans than a title fight in one of those feeder organizations.
Yeah,
but I believe that's going to change with Ngannou. I think Ngannou is really going to help the PFL promote itself. I think there's others that are going to help the PFL promote. There's no end to the money. It seems like that they'll throw at these other organizations. They're literally overpay fighters. Well, according to Dana White and the UFC, they do.
Yeah,
because they're not making money. If you're not making money, that's the idea. They're not making money. They got more going out than they do coming in, and that's why Bellator went broke.
Right.
Right.
So here's the latest post from the Maori kid on his Instagram account. Just to give him a little love.
Watch this straight right. Luke don't go right on the jawline. You see Dabari, he's stunned. Boom, there it comes. He is out, unconscious.
Done dealing, son. Love it. Kid's got it. So hopefully we see him back in the ring live on pay-per-view, and I can't wait to see him fight again because I love that kid. I do.
He struggled against wrestlers. One of his decision losses that he has in Bellator was against a good wrestler. I watched that fight, and from the bottom, he was actually more active than the wrestler that he lost by decision to. He was attempting submissions, and he was striking from the bottom. But when you get that top position in MMA, regardless of what you do with it, these judges pretty much see things one way. And maybe when it comes to people that formerly wrestled and are wrestlers, and that makes up a good majority of the people that are currently in MMA now, that top position's huge. I get it in BJJ, that guard position, you can submit people out of it, but the top position really scores. And if your opponent can hold you down and not even make you nervous and not even smash your face, but just hold you down for 3 rounds, he's probably going to get the win regardless of the damage that's been done, submission attempts that you made that almost came home. That top position's huge. So that's the only hole really in the Maori kid's game is he needs to be a better wrestler. And what I mean by that is he needs to work on takedown defense and not being taken down and scrambling up to your feet when you do get taken down by these fellas that, former NCAA wrestlers, people of that nature, people that wrestle at a high level. If he can get that game where that Chuck Liddell sprawl game, you know what I'm saying? If he can get to where he's at that Chuck Liddell sprawl game where you decide that, you're not being taken down no matter what. And like landing on the ground's hot lava. You know what I'm saying? Like a children's game. You know what I mean? So that's how he's got to fight, I believe. That bottom position, even though he's able to work out of it, it's no good. It's no good unless you get the sub. It's no good. You're not going to score any points on the ground in the UFC with submission attempt. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, it was like that in the Pride, but they're looking at it through a different optic. They're looking at it through more of a martial arts optic. And here in the UFC, we're dominated with wrestlers. That's unfair because wrestling is a martial art. Wrestling,
Yeah.
wrestling is a martial art. But I should say they're looking at it through an optic of a more traditional martial arts, where it's like, oh, he almost had the armbar there. Oh, he almost had a triangle choke there. Oh, he was dominant that whole round from the bottom. We're gonna give the round to this guy. That's something that you'd see in Pride years and years ago. Nowadays, modern MMA, USA, UFC, Bellator, you're laying on your back no matter what you do out your back, unless you get a submission or an up kick, knockout, something like that. You're not scoring on your back. It's just not happening.
Yeah, unfortunately. It is what it is. All right, what else we got?
Well, on that same pay-per-view card with Derek Duplessis and Sean Strickland, we got Raquel Pennington, we got Neil Magny. We're going to have a lot of names I don't really recognize. I mean, I can rattle them off because they're English names, but if I was to tell you, I know who these people are. I mean, I've seen Chris Curtis fight before. Charles Jourdain, I'll be honest, he's got an impressive 15-6. This card is mostly Jimmy Flick. You know who Jimmy Flick is? Because I don't either. Malcolm Gordon sounds like a running back in the NFL to me. Sam Patterson, Johan Leeson. I really don't know a lot of these names. Sean Strickland's carrying this card.
Okay.
Strickland and DDP is carrying this card. Now, here's the thing about Dricus Duplessis. He's really not used to being the heel here. He's kind of the heel, man. He's the heel.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. That's why you think Sean Strickland attacked him in that press conference. He was
that's right. Yeah.
He was making or attacked him at the fight after they had the press conference. He was making fun of the fact that Sean Strickland used to get alcoholic rage beatings from his father. And he told him, I'm going to do the same thing to you your dad used to do to you. Sean Strickland started crying on stage. Now, if you're that guy, here's the problem I got with it. Because you're Sean Strickland and you put it all out there, like that. And you let everybody know that your dad used to beat you and he was an alcoholic and shit. And then you say a lot of things that may or may not be silly about, what a man should be like. And then you freaking cry when somebody says something to you, bro.
Yeah.
Man, like if this was anybody else, I'd say Duplessis is a piece of shit for freaking bringing that up at the press conference. If it's anybody else. But, Sean Strickland's in this world. He's in this game. He made fun of Izzy for freaking jacking off his dog, watching freaking anime, watching Japanese anime, pretty much calling him a freaking straight up pervert and a weirdo, made fun of his freaking fingernails. I mean, that's what this guy does, man. Sean Strickland, freaking, and I love the guy, by the way. I love the guy. I love his interviews. I love his personality. I love his fights. The guy's great, man. He's awesome. That being said, unless he's and I don't think you could fake that kind of emotion because I watched the press conference, but unless this is all like a WWE rouge, like, oh yeah, wink, wink, talk shit about my dad. I'm gonna freaking fight you at the freaking. I'm gonna get into a street fight with you at a UFC event. Wink, wink. And I don't get it, man. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, but Sean Strickland is not exactly the most stable individual, as we know.
Hmm.
He has. I don't know if he was in a motorcycle accident not that long ago, a couple years back, maybe 3 years back, and he was relatively what you would call normal before that accident. A lot of times people will get some. I don't know. You get a lot of head trauma in the UFC too. I don't know. He don't seem like he's the same guy he was before the accident. Maybe that changed him a little bit. But he's out there. He's out of his pocket. He'll tell you what he thinks, and that pretty much wraps up the UFC segment, by the way, Mini. That's it.
All right.
You can end on Sean
Cool.
Strickland Duplessis.
No worries. Good job. Good job, Pops. What you got for us in auto racing?
Holy cow. It's the off season. So everything is nice and calm. And it has been just crazy. Let's start first in NASCAR.
Okay.
And this is a sad note because this guy, I think he's sixth on the all-time win records, tied with Jimmy Johnson with his 83 wins. So Cale Yarborough was quite the character, a scrapper.
Yeah, literally on air. One of the few races that were when NASCAR was just getting going.
It was the first live broadcast of Daytona. and it is credited with their popularity today.
Yeah. Got in a fight, got in a wreck, got out of the car and went fists of cuffs because he didn't agree with how he got taken out of the race. It was great. I love it. He was
And Bobby Allison swears that Yarborough just kept putting his face in front of his fist. But anyway, it was all, and on top of it all off, well, those two are fighting for the win, and then they get into a fist fight. Richard Petty wins the race. So that was interesting. But anyway, Cale Yarborough, quite the character. A local tie-in is Alan Kowicki drove Cale Yarborough's car at the Milwaukee Mile in the Butch Series race there.
Okay.
And this is many years back. It was funny, but to see the Hardee's car out there, it was neat to see. But it was not a short track car, and so it didn't have this. It didn't really have a chance. But Alan gave it a good shot. Let's put it that way. Let's see what else do we got in here that this one will be a big surprise for you. Now I can't find it. Son of a gun.
Of course.
That's just very. Ward Burton, the all-time Southern gentleman,
yes,
is coming out of retirement to race with his son, who is in the Xfinity Series. So it's kind of different. Now, Ward has been pretty much I'm living off my winnings and doing work for charity, particularly around the environment and how it affects animals. But he says, I'm going to raise some money for my charity by doing this and have some fun with my son. So
there you go.
That part is kind of cool. The surprising announcement that I really was surprised. Cal Wells III, it was named the chief operating officer, chief executive officer of Legacy Motorsports. Legacy Motorsports, I'm not real sure exactly. Maury Gallagher basically bought out Richard Petty and formed Legacy Motorsports. I don't know that he has the expertise. However, by bringing in Cal Wells, who probably won more off-road races than any other driver, as a car owner, won more off-road races, won a ton of IndyCar races in the kart era of racing, and was with Michael Waltrip, his team. So I look forward to the Legacy Motorsports kicking some butt this year. I'm sure he will get the cars in shape so that they will be able to do something. Let's see who all they got in there. Oh, that's the other thing. They're going to move from Chevrolet to Toyota for the
Ooh.
2024 season.
Okay.
And that is a big move. It's how should I say it? It's kind of sad that it's happening that way, but when you are the new guy on the block, and they got 2 or 3 well-established championship teams, you get the hand-me-downs, and he's been able to get with Toyota and basically get a first-class operation as far as having all the parts and pieces that the big teams have. So that is another good move for. They're going to have Eric Jones and Noah Gragston as the drivers. Again, I'm not sure how that works out, but it is what it is. I guess that's the best way to say it. And they also have Jimmy Johnson as the driver. So I'm sure he's going to be participating in several races. So that one to see. Let's see. Silly season. We definitely are in a silly season.
Sure.
Just to spread the wealth, the 2024 edition of the Chili Bowl Nationals, presented by NOS Energy Drink, it's just around the corner. Coming week, it's going to be the qualifying and then the championship next Saturday. They've got 3 drivers, prominent drivers, entered in it. 3 of them from Stewart Haas Racing, Chase Briscoe, JJ Yaley, and Josh Bilicki.
Nice.
And all of those guys are capable of winning, which is neat to see. And then the ARCA Menard Series champion, Jesse Love, is also going to be racing in the series. So next week there should be some interesting video. For one reason or another, I can't find that video I showed you yesterday.
Oh yeah, with him driving around doing like basically like a selfie in his freaking midget.
Yeah, he's doing a selfie and taking pictures of the crowd. And he doesn't have a hand on the steering wheel.
Right. Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I go, no, that doesn't happen because midgets are so twitchy.
Yes.
I mean, it's so easy to lose, and he wasn't.
It's an engine with a car around it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, the massive engine with a tiny little light car. So yeah. He's a steal. To paint the picture for y'all, he's basically has a cell phone out, showing himself, showing the track, and steering with only his thigh and his throttle, and just going around and going. And it is very cool. Yeah, I wish we had it. I actually tried to take a shot at finding it and see if you sent it to me, but couldn't find it. But it's all good. We'll put up later.
If you got a chance, go to Flow Racing, FLO Racing. That's I think what I was looking at yesterday. Anyway, so it might be there. The other sad note in racing is a extremely qualified driver, a very good driver, and quite a impressive administrator, and that's Jules DePerrin. Racing Penske.
Yep.
And Penske decided to downsize to 3 from 4. And so Jules was out, but then he went ahead and raced for Penske in the sports car ranks and was a pretty dominant driver there. Then he went to Formula One, and I can't remember whose team he was affiliated with, but was the basically the driver's driver, which is pretty hard to do. I mean, you're going to come in and tell a Formula One driver, this is what you got to do to win. And the Formula One driver says, dude, I've been doing this for 10 years. Get the fuck out of here. But Gilles was able to do that, and which is pretty neat. Everybody, I mean, you look at the comments, Roger Penske, Mark Miles, Douglas Bowles, and David Salters. These are all big head honchos. Salters is the president of Honda Racing.
Yeah.
Gilles was racing a Honda. Doug Bowles, the president of Minneapolis Motor Speedway. Mark Miles, president, CEO of Penske Entertainment, and Roger Penske, chairman of Penske. So, I mean, these were big dudes coming out and talking about him. I wish I could find, and I'm sure it's out there, but I haven't been able to find it. A comment by Elio Castroneves because they had similar paths getting into IndyCar, and I'm sure he had some quality comments about Gilles de Perrin. Let's see what else I had in here. We got Wells, NASCAR, we got that. The Cup, we got that. That's the other thing that is going on. Little changes in the driver lineups, and Stuart Haas obviously has to race or replace Kevin Harvick, who's getting out of the 4-car.
Yeah.
And Eric Almirola is getting out of the 10-car. So, it's like, okay. So the team has remaining 2 young drivers. And now they're adding 2 more for 2024. Josh Berry, who is an excellent driver. He runs for Junior Motorsports. And it's okay. Junior Motorsports and the Super Late Model Series.
Okay.
And he's a friend of Junior's, and it's neat to see him get a shot in some first class equipment. I guess that's the best way to describe that.
Yeah.
And let's see. Well, the big thing was he filled in for Chase Elliott. Remember, he got hurt and couldn't drive, and so they hired Josh to come in and finish out, or not finish out the season, but because it was in the beginning of the season where he got hurt. But anyway, Josh did some awesome work for him and gave the team some good finishes, which is neat. Let's see. Who is going? Noah Gragston is going in the seat in Legacy Motor Club, which again is the Legacy Motorsports has the contract with Richard Petty to promote the team. It used to be his team. He sold it all, and now he's a promoter of the team. I guess that's the way they explain it. Spire Motorsports has got a couple new drivers coming in, and they, I don't know, it's kind of strange because Spire is not brand new, but pretty much a rookie as far as driving in the NASCAR series. The one car is going to be driven by Carson Hocevar. Hocevar, if you remember my reports on the Truck Series and Xfinity Series, he is a go-getter. He sometimes pisses people off because he does go get them too often, but they're giving him a shot with that, and I think it's going to be interesting to see because he's going to have some pretty good equipment, and you couple that with the natural desire that Hocevar has as far as trying to win. That is not going to be something you just walk away from. So
gotcha.
Hocevar is a great addition. Another addition is Trackhouse, and this one is kind of weird too. Zane Smith, who was the truck champion this year. He will drive the number 71 Chevrolet Camaro for Spire, but is under contract with Trackhouse Racing. Spire is adding a additional car this year. They had 2. They're gonna have 3 this year, and they arranged for a charter from another team, and so that guarantees the third track or not third Spire car will be in all the races. So they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff to get things moving. And we're 2 weeks away from the 24 hours. So we'll be doing something with that next week for sure.
Awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait for that. Baseball, not a hell of a lot going on. Surprisingly, it's been a little quiet lately. And I can't figure out why. There's some big names out there. Of course, the Dodgers went out and spent a fucking $1 billion on Shohei Ohtani and Yoshino. I'll just do his last name, Yamamoto. So they're primed, and if they get their pitching healthy, like Walker Buehler or anything like that, they're going to be very, very nasty. Lucas Giolito signed a $38.5 million deal with the Boston Red Sox. Aaron Nola stays with the Philadelphia Phillies, where he won a World Series. Eduardo Rodriguez got a 4-year deal worth $80 million for the Diamondbacks, so they just got a little bit better. But there's still 5 guys out there that are pretty prominent. Cody Bellinger, who was a comeback player of the year for MLB, had a great season with the Cubs last year. Marcus Stroman, who had 2/3 of a great season with the Cubs until he got hurt. Jordan Montgomery still out there, who helped the Texas Rangers win the World Series. A solid left-hander. He's nothing about Jordan Montgomery is amazing, but the dude throws strikes and he'll eat innings up like it's his job, and that's what Jordan Montgomery is good for. He's still out there. So I don't know. It's weird that Bellinger's still on the thing. Matt Chapman, who's a free agent, great third baseman out of Toronto, and I think he started in Oakland. Blake Snell, who won the fucking Cy Young, is still out there. Nobody's signed him yet.
Well, I mean, is there anything in these guys' backgrounds that make them not worthy of being grabbed for billions?
No, well, Blake Snell, I mean, yeah, he's going to command some money. Ohtani and Yamamoto, I think, just torpedoed the whole free agent market.
Well,
because
how does his contract affect the salary cap? Because they're theoretically only paying him $2 million a year.
Right. Well, yeah, he deferred $28 million or something like that a year. Yeah. They're only paying him $2 million. So basically, Shohei Ohtani, when this contract is over, is going to own a piece of the Dodgers. That's really the only way to pay off that contract. It's all right. Here's a piece of the team, because that's 10 years, $2 million a year. That's $20 million on a $700 million contract. They owe him $680 million. How do you pay that off? The only way in my mind is that they give him a chunk of the team, and make him an owner. But yeah, Blake Snell. I don't know what's going on with that. Yankees are allegedly interested in him. Boston is allegedly interested in him. The Cubs are in there.
But
I don't know.
Have the Yankees picked up anybody?
Other than Juan Soto, really no. They traded for Alex Verdugo, who's a left fielder, which anybody knows. Playing left field at Yankee Stadium is a bit of a bitch. It's actually it is the most difficult left field in baseball. So they got a solid left fielder in there, but other than that and Juan Soto, they haven't done anything. Like I said, Blake Snell is still out there. I don't know how much money he's going to get. He's a weird cat. Led the league in walks, also had the lowest ERA, highest strikeout. So he's a different kind of cat. He's a pitcher, but he's a left-hander. So
he's not afraid to pitch the ball close and loses sometimes. But when he loses to one player instead of two.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't give a lot of dingers. Like I said, Lucas Giolito signed with the Sox. Jordan Montgomery is still out there. Sonny Gray signed with the Cardinals. Cardinals, they signed 3 pitchers that are kind of like 2 and 3 starters, but the Cardinals know how to get the most out of anything. They're known for that. So hopefully the they suck. I hate the Cardinals. I'm a Cubs fan. Rice Hoskins, former Philadelphia Philly first baseman, he's still out there. Josh Hader, one of the probably the best closer in the last 10 years, got traded from Milwaukee to San Diego. He's still a free agent. Nobody signed him. I don't understand where that's coming from. Jorge Soler, former Cubs prospect, brought him up, got traded away, had a couple of decent years with the Miami Marlins. He's a DH. He's a free agent. Jock Peterson, famously slapped a couple of years ago by Tommy Pham over some fantasy football shit. Justin Turner, who had a great year, former Dodger, and had a great year with Boston last year. He's a free agent. JD Martinez, free agent. Here's the one that I can't figure out. Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have not signed Clayton Kershaw. And I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, the guy disappears in the playoffs, so I don't blame him.
Well, all right, ish, but he's, I don't know.
Getting up there in age. The guy's got freaking back problems. The goddamn
he's
guy
only 35. He's not up there in age. He's only 35 years old, man.
Man.
He's not that old, man.
Can you tell he's cost me some money?
All right. Yes, I can.
Now we understand.
Who else is out there still? Gary Sanchez, who had a great year with San Diego, still available. Michael Brantley, after 15 years in MLB, decided to retire. I mean, shit, he barely played the last 2 years, so like I get it. Like, you know, the legs aren't there. You know, he can't keep up with the fastball. Aroldis Chapman, free agent still.
Chicago going to take him back?
Hopefully not. But yeah, other than that, not a hell of a lot going on. Like I mentioned, there are 5 free agents out there, huge guys like Cody Bellinger, Matt Chapman, and Blake Snell. Haven't been signed. I'm just waiting around for who the hell is going to do it. I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out soon, but it is what it is. So MLB is a little quiet right now. And you know, we've only got what February, February, 3 months basically till catchers and pitchers report. So we'll see. I'm sure it'll heat up pretty quick. And if it does, we'll certainly let you know. What's the date? I'm gonna give you I used to have a countdown on my computer.
It's gonna be February, right? So come out here and watch the Cubby game, dude. I got a spare bedroom.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All it would cost you would be, you know, your ticket out here and your ticket in the game.
Let's see. 2024 spring training will officially begin Thursday, February 22nd, as the Dodgers and Padres will face off in Cactus League Showdown less than a month before the same two teams kick off the regular season in South Korea. So yeah, we're less than 2 months away, basically. So I can't wait. All right.
It's a month away, right, bro? Like a month and
a month and 2 weeks, basically, around there ish.
That's probably closer to a month and a half.
24th, the 24th, yeah.
All right, so we're about 2 months away almost.
Right.
We just started this month. It's the 7th.
All right, so that wraps up baseball to the NFL. Got a couple teams on
the fantasy league over with.
Oh, we covered that before you jumped on. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we covered it. Sorry.
We don't need to get into that again.
Saturday's games. We had the Steelers and the Ravens. Steelers pulled away 10-7 despite struggling all year. Hey, 10-7. They might just make it in there. Ravens, who have been beating the brakes off of people lately, fell. 17-10. The Steelers, good on them. the Houston
They didn't
Texans
have to win that game.
Yeah, the Houston Texans.
That's why. If Baltimore had to win that game, it would have been a different game.
Probably.
Yeah. Steelers had to
Houston,
win that game.
Houston Texans, who definitely had to win this game to get in there, face off against the Indianapolis Colts. The Texans won behind a 75-yard. If you look it up, very neat pass from C.J. Stroud. They won 23-19. The games today are as follows, and there's a couple of important ones in here. Browns and Bengals. Browns, despite not really having a quarterback for half the year, are 11-5. They're in Cincinnati. The line is Cincinnati minus 7.5. Over is 36.5. Vikings and the Lions. Vikings are out. Lions are in. Detroit is favored by 4. Over under 47.5. Jaguars versus the Titans. Jacksonville, I believe, is in. Especially if they win today, they're favored by 3.5. The Jets and the Patriots, a game that nobody fucking cares about. New England is favored by 2.5 on that one. The Falcons and the Saints, again, a game nobody fucking cares about. But New Orleans is favored by 3. Buccaneers and the Panthers. Ow, another game that nobody. Panthers locked in, I believe, for the first overall pick at 2-14. Ugh. Tampa Bay favored by 5 on that one. And the big one, Pook, are you ready for it? Are you ready for some football, Pook? The Bears and the Packers. The Bears travel to Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra. Green Bay is favored by 3, over under 45.5. I'm taking the Packers and the spread. What do you say on that one, Pook Dawg?
If I give you action on this game, will you give me action on one of my games that I like?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'll take the Bears for you.
Okay. All right. Next one up, Bronc. Go ahead.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that Bengals Browns game?
Oh man. Woo! I don't know how you don't take the Browns on this.
We can agree on that one. I'll take the Bengals.
You're gonna take the Bengals?
I don't like the half because I'm looking at some live odds and I got them at 7.
Yeah. Man, I can't believe the Bengals are getting 7.5. That's crazy. We'll see. Next game up, the afternoon games, or the second game in the afternoon. Broncos and Raiders. Nobody cares about. Russell Wilson benched to save some money. Nice job, Denver. God, could you be any more dysfunctional? Jesus Christ, the Lions have got their shit together, and you are becoming the new Detroit Lions. I mean, you're just a joke. But they are Las Vegas favored by 3, over under 36.5. Eagles and Giants. Eagles are going to wipe the floor with them. They are favored by 5, over at 42.5. Seahawks and Cardinals. Nobody cares about. The Cardinals are terrible. I mean, it just is what it is. Seahawks are kind of meh. Seahawks are favored by 3. Chiefs and the Chargers, which, hey, we're going to see probably 40 shots of Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes, who apparently is a shitty tipper. Go figure, white trash. Moving on. Rams and 49ers. Rams 9-7, trying to get into the playoffs there. 49ers 12-4. After, a pretty embarrassing loss the other week against the Baltimore Ravens, they're trying to bounce back. They're favored by 4, over under is 40.5. Cowboys and Commanders. Used to be Redskins Cowboys. Was always a good matchup no matter what. Dallas is favored by 13, Pook. Woo! That's tasty to me a little bit. That's a little tasty.
You want the Commanders and 13 points?
Man, I mean, that's I mean, Washington's at home. It's late in the year. Usually not a lot of big scoring games at that point. I don't know, man. If we weren't locked in the other 2 games, I might look at that Commanders at 13. Whoo! And Sunday Night Football, the Bills and the Dolphins. Huge implications here. Huge for the AFC East. The Bills at 10-6, Dolphins at 11-5. Buffalo is favored by 3, over under at 48.5. The Bills are favored in Miami. Whew, I don't know about that one. That's a little scary. That's I don't know. I touched that with a 10-foot pole, man. Really?
Give me the Bills.
Yeah, you want to take the Bills on that one?
I'll take the
They're
Bills.
bringing Shula
I'll
back.
take Cincinnati, but I want the live odds. I want the 7. I want the 7.5. And I'll also, what's the playoff picture look like for Philadelphia?
Let me look at it real quick here.
Do they got everything locked up?
I think they do. They're not going to be the number 1 overall seed because
If they're as far along as they possibly can be, with this game don't help them. I'll take freaking Giants money line.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find anything on it real quick. Nothing's coming up real quick, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. All right, look, I mean, we're locked in, right? We're locked in for the. I'm taking the Browns.
Okay.
Are you giving me 7.5 or are you giving me 7?
Man, I refresh you got live odds. Refresh your page if you got live odds. It should be 7.
Well, I'm just looking at
7.
ESPN, man, and they still have them at 7.5.
Can you see my screen or no?
No, because we're only seeing parts of the screen. Move it to your.
Oh, now I see it. Now I see it.
MGM Sportsbook.
All right.
That's live.
All right. You want me to
Not making this up.
You want me to take the Browns -7? Or I'm giving you 7 with the Bengals, right? That's what you're telling me? I'm taking the Browns, and I'm giving you 7.
No. I'm giving you 7 in the Browns. You're getting the points.
All right.
You get the points.
Well, that was a 14-point swing you ought to be happy with.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The line is Cincinnati -7.5. So Pook's telling me -7.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, you can read it right. Can you read it? You can read it. Hold on. There we go. We got it. We got it.
All right.
That's live. That's what's going on right now. That's what's happening now.
I'm taking the Browns +7.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool.
And I got the Bears +3.
Yep.
And then if we can agree on some other games, we can do some other games.
No, let's just stay at 2 before I get myself into fucking too much. I got 100 on the fucking Nagano fight. Let's not. But before long, I'm gonna owe you.
That's
money.
not till March, man.
I know. But still, to wrap it up. Hey, what's up, Manchu Warrior? How you doing, brother? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Gotta love that World of Takes, man. Keep on keeping on with that. To wrap it up, remember, never take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. There's plenty of resources out there. I know it's hard to ask, but if you're in a bad place, all you got to do is hit somebody up and say, hey, I need to talk. And that's the start down the path of not being here. Other than that, I'm going to turn it over to Pook and then Pops, and we're going to call it because we got some football to watch, boys and girls. What do you got, Pook?
Yeah, I got my freaking 9th jab the other day, and I made sure that I got my booster shot. You guys all need to get out there, get your boosters. You know, it's the flu season, so you should be getting the flu shot along with a booster for the COVID. You probably see. I'm taking my 9th shot because I got the Pfizer, the Moderna. I got hit with the Pfizer, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson. I did all 3, but then I got on the Pfizer train. I just started doing the Pfizer jabs. So then I started doing the Pfizer booster. So I'm like on my 6th Pfizer booster, I believe. Oh, it's 9 shots all in total. You should all be where I'm at, and you're not vaccinated until you're dead. Just remember that. And as far as all this stuff coming out about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that's coming out, I believe a lot of it's just fake news.
There you go. All right, Pops, what you got?
Something I forgot to bring up when I was doing the report is that Kyle Larson had a conversation with Kenny Wallace in a podcast. They call it Kenny's Conversation. and they talked for a good hour. But the key part of the conversation was that Kyle Larson, at age 31, does not believe he will race until he's 40. In other words, he's got 9 years left to race in Cup before he says I'm out of it, which is a big, a big deal. I mean, you look at the guys that are retired. Someone like Matt Kenseth got out early because he was too expensive. But this is a guy that has not only proved his worth, but he proved that he's a top quality driver when he came back from suspension and won the championship. So this is something guys don't normally look to get out of the sport, but he says I got other racing to do, and NASCAR takes up too much of my time. Oh, so it's paying you billions of dollars, but I want to do other stuff. So that's what's going on there.
Go to Le Mans. Go win it for the Americans.
Well, he's obviously gonna run Sprint Series. He owns the Sprint Series, so I'm sure he will be involved with that. I'd like to see him in an Indy car. That would be neat to see. He's just talented. Everything he gets into, he wins. So that part is neat. And I'll second your thought about making the call. And it's not, you got to make a call and invite the people to tell you what's going on, and instead of forcing them to just put it in there so that they understand you're willing to listen, and there's not some routine they're just following just to be happy.
Absolutely. Without further ado, as I remember, I'm gonna let my son walk us out.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.